to our reading night. Tonight we have two really good Dr. Seuss books. Mr. G kind of gave me some food for thought about that the last time with his two Dr. Seuss books, so I thought that I would share one of my favorites, the Lorax, and one that I hadn't seen before, What Pet Should I Get? So let's dive right in and take a look at the Lorax. At the far end of town, where the grinkle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing, excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grinkle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax, and why was it there, and why was it lifted and taken somewhere from the far end of town where the grinkle grass grows? The old onceler still lives there. Ask him. He knows. You won't see the onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum cold under the roof where he makes his own clothes out of muffed moof. And on special dank midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells you how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you perhaps if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail, and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather's snail. Look at him. He's tossing it in. I think he wants to hear the story of the Lorax. Then he pulls up the pail, makes a most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in his gruvulous glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper my phone, for the secrets I tell are for your ears alone. Slup, down slups the whisper-ma-phone to your ear, and the old onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now, I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the swoomy swans rang out in space. One morning, I came to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright colors, tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. Look how pretty those are. And under the trees I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. Look at them. He's up there eating a fruit. But those trees, those truffula trees. All my life I've been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop, and with great skillful skill, and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tufts and I knitted a thneed. You see his thneed? That's a hard word to say. It's a great book. The instant I'd finished, I heard a gazump. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I'd chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Sorry, gotta show the pictures. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees, for the trees have no tongues. And I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed, what's that thing you've made out of my truffula tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite unuseful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed's a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat, but it has other uses. Yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers, for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that fool thneed. Would you buy a thneed? I don't think I would. I don't have anything that needs that many uses. But the very next minute I proved he was wrong, for just that minute a chap came along, and he thought that the thneed I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. Look at him go. He bought it. But look at the Lorax. I think he's disappointed. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Be quiet, if you please. I rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts, and I said, listen here. Here's a wonderful chance for the whole Wunsler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Nitch. Turn left at Weehonkin. Sharp right at South Stitch. I think he was crazy with greed. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Wunsler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting thneeds just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of truffula trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow, so I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffula trees at one smacker. We were making thneeds 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. I wonder why. But the next week he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots who played in the shade in their barbaloot suits and happily lived eating truffula fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking, My trees to the ground, there's not enough truffle of fruit to go round. And my poor barbaloots are all getting crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. Look at them. They're so sad. They're so hungry. They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go. But business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies in tummies, you know. I meant no harm. I mostly truly did not. But I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads, and the needs I shipped out, I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more needs, and the biggered my money, which everyone needs. The van says you needeth need. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when the old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax, he coughed and he whiffed. He sneezed and he snuffled, he snargled and he sniffed. Onceler, he cried, with a cacophonous croak. Onceler, you're making such smogulous smoke. My poor swami swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in his throat. And so, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough. They can't live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here. What's more, snapped the Lorax. His dander was up. Let me say a few words about gluppity-glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making gluppity-glup and sloppity-slop. And what do with the leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler man, you. You're glupping the pond where hummingbird hummered. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get wholly weary in search of some water that isn't smeary. Look at them walking. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax. Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap yap and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir. I'm telling you. I intend to go on doing what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffula trees into needs, which everyone needs. I don't think that they do. And at the very moment we heard a loud whack, from outside in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffula tree of them all. There it goes. No more trees, no more needs, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles, aunts, and everyone all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke-smudged stars. Now all that was left neath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad, sad backward glance, as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hesitated, I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place, through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks, with the one word, unless. Whatever that meant. Well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago, but each day since that day I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all my heart. But now, says the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So, catch, calls the Onceler. He lets something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds, and truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care, give it clean water, and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. The end. I love this book. This is such a good book. What pet should I get? See, I have a pet. He is actually hiding by the door. He's a cat. I have a dog, and I have a fish. No, I have two fish. I have two fish tanks. So, what pet should you get? We want a pet. We want a pet. What kind of pet should we get? I love my pets. Dad said we could have one. Dad said he would pay. I went to the pet shop. I went there with Kay. And so we went in. There they go. They're going to pick out a pet. I took one fast look. I saw a fine dog who shook hands. So we shook. So I said I want him. But then Kay saw a cat, she gave it a pat, and she said, I want that. Then Kay said, now what do you think we should do? Dad said to pick one. We cannot take home two. See the dog? He's shaking. See the cat? Then what do you know? We saw two other kinds. Now how could Kay and I make up our minds? A pup and a kitten, they looked like good fun. Now which would we pick? We could only pick one. Make up your mind. The cat or the dog, the kitten or the pup. Oh boy, it is something I'm to make a mind up. Then I looked all around. I saw something with wings. I said, look at him. We can pick one that sings. But then, look over there, said my sister Kay. We can go home with a rabbit today. Please don't bring a rabbit home. Then I looked at Kay. I said, what will we do? I like all the pets that I see. So do you. We have to pick one pet and pick it out soon. You know Mother told us to be back by noon. And I could have done it. I could have, I bet. I could have said, what pet should we get? But you know what Kay did? What did Kay do? Oh dear Kay, what did you do? Do you know what she did? She said, fish, 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 fish. It may be a fish is the pet that we wish. Fish are high maintenance. Then I saw a new kind, and they were good too. How could I pick one? Now what should we do? We could only pick one. That is what my dad said. But how could I make up that mind in my head? Oh my goodness, look at all the pets in that store. Make up your mind. Pick a pet fast. Pick one out soon. Mother and Dad said to be home by noon. Oh my goodness. Are they going to make it? The time may be now to make up my mind, but who knows what other good pets I might find. I might find a new one, a fast kind of thing, who would fly around my head in a ring on a string. Yes, that would be fun, but our house is so small. This thing on a string would bump into the wall. My mother, I know, would not like that at all. So maybe some good kind of pet, another kind maybe, is what we should get. We might find a new kind, a pet who is tall, a tall pet who fits in a space that is small. My mother might like this pet best of them all. Look how tall that one is. I don't even know what that is. If we had a big tent, then we would be able to take home a yent. Dad would like us to have a good yent. But how do I know he would pay for a tent? So you see how it is when you pick out a pet. How can you make up your mind what to get? But, oh my goodness. What if we took one of each kind of pet? Then our house would be full of the pets we would get. No, Dad would be mad. We only can have one. If we do not choose, we will end up with none. I will do it right now. I will do it, I said. I will make up my mind that is up in my head. The dog or the rabbit, the fish or the cat. I picked one out fast, and then that was that. Wonder what they got. And we'll never know, because that's the end. I hope it was a bird. I've always wanted a bird. All right. Looks like we have time for two more. So this one is called Love Is. I love this story. Love is holding something fragile, tiny wings and downy head. Love is noisy midnight feedings, shoebox right beside the bed. My goodness. Woke her up. It's peaceful sleeping, no more peeping, tucked in tightly head to toes. Love is waking up together, side by side, beak to nose. It's early mornings, messy bath times, tidying up and settling down. Love is in familiar voices, feeling lost and being found. It's in the struggles, growing muscles. Ready for a bigger pond. It's sensing when the time is right to lift those wings to travel on. Love is nudging gently, tugging, coaxing baby from the nest. It's getting to the edge and hoping, letting nature do the rest. Love is missing, reminiscing, wishing things could stay the same. It's understanding even ducklings, like the seasons, have to change. And love is also watching, waving, wondering if love remembers you, and knowing in a happy instant that love has lasted. And grown some too. All right, last story, and it is our good night story. I read this one to my daughter when she was an infant, and we've held on to it. And we love the Carol and Jane Church books. So this one's called Good Night, I Love You. It's time for bed, so let's get ready. Bring your bunny, bring your teddy. Bath fun at the end of the day. Laugh, splash, giggle, and play. Scrub high, scrub low. Squeaky clean from head to toe. Wrapped up in towels, lovely and dry. Time to brush, now open wide. Make sure to brush your teeth. Toothbrush is up. Get dressed, sleepyhead. A nighttime story. Let's read before bed. Snuggle the covers and off with the lights. Dream little dreams. I love you. Good night. I want to say thank you to everyone who joined me tonight. It was a pleasure to read these stories for you, and I can't wait to do it again, hopefully in a couple weeks. Bye, everybody.